everybody, hope y'all are doing okay. Thanks for tuning in for another cruise with Smooth. I tell you what, this has been emotionally draining on me. I'm spending more time on Facebook than I've been able to, and I see a lot of people dealing with difficult stuff. Some friends of mine, they had their first child after we went into lockdown. There was a couple small medical problems, nothing bad happened, but they ended up keeping them there a little longer than originally projected because they wanted to send him home knowing for absolutely certain that he was healthy and not have to risk readmitting the family into the hospital because they didn't want it to risk outside contamination of the pediatrics ward, which makes perfect sense. I've also heard of fathers on Facebook stepping out of the nursery area and not being able to get back in, that if they didn't pack enough clothes or meals or whatever, that they can't get back in because they can't even go to the cafeteria to get food. But this friend of mine, they were saying that they saw the first few days home being so different. There was no one able to come into the hospital to see them. They were all separated by the pane of glass. No one has been in their house, including grandparents, to hold their grandchild. And so this is a difficult time for a lot of people. And I remember how much joy I got out of when my youngest daughter was born. I remember how much joy I got out of everybody coming over to see us and say hi and hold the baby, and it was heartwarming. People cared that much about me and about her and about my wife that it was just heartwarming to see that, and this first time parents not getting any of that, so I do feel sorry for them. There are a lot of other things, just normal, everyday, not that big a deal things that simply are not designed for the current way that we are operating. Long story short, I've got a family member that is in declining health. Oh, by the way, it's my uncle, and he doesn't have coronavirus. False positive test, thankfully. But I've got but anyway, my uncle, he went into the hospital. He wasn't in good enough physical shape to be released to his house. So he is going to a rehab center / nursing home for a little while, so they can help him build back up his strength and things like that. Not a huge deal. Well, he'd been in the hospital for right around a week, and they're talking about keeping him there several weeks. My mother had already been made given power of attorney over him in the event that she needed to step in and take care of business. She could. Well, she's trying to get his banking taken care of. He had got a little bit of money from wheeling and dealing, and so she needed to deposit the money into his bank and take care of some stuff, and basically she doesn't want him to be behind on his bills when he gets out. So even though there might be, we don't know if there's a temporary reprieve on his rent or things like that, but just wanting to make sure that he's caught up when he gets out. Makes perfect sense to me. Well, anyway, the rehab center that he's at is not allowing any outside visitors, which makes perfect sense to me. And there's so far no way that she can get the paperwork that she needs in order to get added onto his account to handle stuff taken care of. The nursing home has no notaries. The bank has some specific paperwork that they need signed and notarized. The nursing home has no notaries. They won't let a notary in to sign it. She's already got a notarized power of attorney. The bank won't let her do what she needs to do right now. The nursing home won't let her have access to him. And so there's just policies and procedures that are in place right now that don't line up with what needs to be done, or there's policies and procedures that were in place 2 months ago that don't accommodate certain sets of circumstances. So, and I'm not saying that anybody's being dead wrong, but there needs to be a lot more flexible. Everybody needs to be ready to be a lot more flexible in order to get stuff done right now, since there's new and unforeseen difficulties and circumstances. Right now I'm trying to hang on to my money as best as I can, because I don't know what if the unemployment system in my state is going to be able to keep up with their payouts on everything and pay out money on time. I've seen some of my coworkers have already got it. Everybody was supposed to file on the same day. I still haven't gotten any money. Thankfully, my wife's still working. We had a little bit of money in the bank before all this started, and there is going to be that huge spending package, and I'm going to get some of that the way that everything breaks down. Well, anyway, this has just been very trying, because there's a ton of people that were just barely on the cusp of making it, and now they're having to rely on friends and family to help them out, or they're really out of luck. My sister was a newly single mother, and her daycare's closed, so my mother is taking care of her kids, which I don't think she particularly minds doing, but I know that being somewhat obligated to, so that my sister can work, is a little tough, because right now she can't really make any plans. My mother has a doctor's appointment later this week, and I've got to take care of them. Granted, I'm off of work. I don't really have anything to do. I've got some of my side jobs to take care of, but it's a frustrating time right now with everything that's going on to just try to cope. My sister is currently an essential employee. She works in a shipping warehouse, and they have not been told by anybody to stand down. Online orders are through the roof right now. I wish I would have bought stock in Amazon or anybody. But it's been very trying for a lot of people to keep up with the rapid change of pace in the way that things are being done, the unforeseen complications. I tell you what, I realize I'm fortunate. I know I am. I'm not too stressed or concerned about money. I'm not going to have to try to postpone any of my loan repayments on anything at this point in time. And provided things go back to normal around May-ish, I'll actually be okay. But I know that there's some people out there that are really in a tight spot. Move, buzzards. Move, buzzards. And I feel for them. This isn't a time that's been overly tight for me, but I've definitely been in a tough spot. Number of years ago, when shortly after my wife and I got together, and the first 7 months we were married-ish, I was on a first name basis with several collectors. My position had been downsized at work, and so I ended up taking a pay cut, and I had made reasonably smart financial decisions. Not necessarily the brightest, but not stupid. I was not overextended by any means, but when my pay changed, I really started having a lot of trouble paying my bills. And one of my banks, I never saved the phone number. I knew I could look at my phone and tell you who it was calling, and I'd ask her what she was calling about that time, and I'd tell her I'd get it on payday. And that was our conversation about twice a month for 6, 7, 8 months. Got behind on rent, got behind on all sorts of stuff, and it was rough. But we survived. I know that there are some people that might end up in worse predicaments due to this than I did, and my heart really goes out to them. I'd love to hear in the comments what y'all have been up to during this quarantine and social distancing season that we're going through. I've just been bored. There's stuff to do, but I'm trying to be financially diligent. There's projects that I've got to take care of, but again, trying to be financially diligent. The only thing I did do a couple weeks ago before all this, my wife wanted me to get a gasoline generator. We live out in the boonies, and she wanted to make sure that we had emergency power in the event of a power outage. Well, I don't have quite everything I need. I'm going to have to bring an electrician buddy out and have him do a little bit of work for me, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But he's got to hook up a big plug for me. But hopefully we can get this situated. Where we have a generator in the event of a power outage, so we can run the refrigerators and the freezers, and if we can run all of our food preservation, heat, and laundry, I would be just thrilled beyond all measure. But I don't know how much all that's going to take, so they said to kind of try to give it's a kind of a trial and error to find out what will and won't trip the breakers on the generator. So we'll see. I'm not an electrician, so I'm not going to wire it up. I watched a a tutorial, and a guy that was an electrician and a welder and a jack of all trades had kind of some jerry rigging done to get into his home electrical panel, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do that, so I didn't. Anyway, I just had to make a brief food run for both my kids and my wife's pig, so I did that. I'm getting home now. I should be home in just a minute or two, but I just wanted to drop a quick video, let y'all know I'm still hanging in there okay, check in on y'all, see how y'all are doing. I'm supposed to be going out inside hustling a little bit tomorrow. I'm going to try to get something recorded for you. Don't know what it's going to be. Final thought, and then I'm done. There was an 80-something-year-old woman, I read this on the news, that caught a beat down because she was coughing in a public place. And all I have to say is people need to chill out. There is no need in all that. She may not have had anybody to go do her shopping for her. She may not have had anybody to help her out with groceries, things like that. What's she supposed to do? Stay home and starve? And she might not even have it. So people just need to chill out. If you were that worried about her, you shouldn't have even touched her in the first place. You should have just ran. So people need to chill out. Social distancing. I'm standing way back when I go to Kroger. I'm not getting close to people when I go to Kroger. The closest person I got to today was a cashier, but they even had the plexiglass up between customers and workers there and all that. So just do what you're supposed to do. Don't freak out on nobody. We'll probably be okay. So y'all take care. I just pulled in my parking spot in the driveway. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Love to hear from you in the comments. See you.